Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the weekly kickoff. All right, now just have a look at the markets just to start with. There's a few little gaps in the market, and there's a varying news items around this. Now, the LDP party, the ruling party in Japan, have appointed a female as the head. Looks like she'll be the next prime minister. She's got a whole heap of policies that they want to implement. Could be more spending, could be a whole range of things. But the market is obviously very cautious now. And there's also the Gaza Strip situation. I don't think that's going to impact the markets. Trump has deployed some troops here into Oregon, which is probably a bit of a concern for the US people. That is, sending troops around the place. He's also started to freeze out a lot of Democrat states and institutions, right? So that's just sort of ticking away in the background, right? We look at the markets. There's not a lot of shift, not much change. If anything, the short-dated treasury or interest rates are a little bit lower, but that's pretty neutral, right? Equity markets, well, we've got a bit of a risk-off day. Euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi lower, and the dollar up. We're just sort of waiting for confirmation what that is exactly. Why is the dollar rallying? Is it a culmination of news events, or is it an isolated one? I can't really tell at the moment. But when you do come into the charts in this situation, you're pretty much just getting prepared for the week, right? That means we are looking across the board at the numbers, okay, what numbers are coming out this week. And it's a bit more modest, right? We don't have like a lot of head kicker data. So we can sort of pick the markets off. Now, Mondays, not a lot coming out, but we're just looking for some flow, right? Swiss unemployment, Eurozone retail sales, worth a look. Construction PMI out of the UK, of course. Then you come into like Tuesday. Well, we've got some consumer confidence numbers. They don't do a hell of a lot. IV PMI, that's a decent number there for the Canadian dollar. You come into Wednesday, we have the RBNZ. They are due to cut rates. We'll have to wait and see what they've got to say about what they're going to keep doing. They could potentially come out quite dovish, which means they're going to talk the prospect of more rate cuts coming forward. We've got the FOMC minutes on Thursday, as well as the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts. Now, this is like in between their main meetings. They do talk about what's going on, right? And that's what we could get there. It might give us a lead into what is actually what they're thinking about. Fed Chairman Powell speaking there on Thursday as well. You come into Friday, and it's probably really all about the Canadian employment numbers, right? So you might think, oh, well, there's not much to look at. These are the sort of weeks that actually do take shape, right? Where there's not a lot of influence and impact from, say, a major data release. We're not sort of, the market isn't hanging on the hook of waiting for some big US number, right? And that sets us up for an opportunity technically. Now, whether you're looking at the charts on a longer term perspective on the dailies, they are starting to drift a bit, right? The market is uncertain what the dollar's doing and what a lot of the other instruments are doing. So this makes it a little bit trickier on a long-term perspective, but I think this is the sort of market where we will get some action on the short-term charts, on the hourlies, right? So all you want to be doing on a Monday is really just tuning the charts up, right? Get yourself organized and have a look around where the major levels are. That way you can, be ready to hit the market should some news come out or we start to see a general flow in or out of the US dollar. That'll be something that we want to keep an eye on as we go through the week. So and that's all we can do, right? The only things we can control, if I can just get that thing on there, is, what we do, what our perspective is on the technical levels, right? Draw your trend lines, understand where the key levels are. If I just hit that button. Okay, and then you can start to sort of work out, okay, what is actually happening here on sterling? Is this what's the gap? What's the real reason for that gap in the market? As I said, I've looked around the market and the web, but I haven't really isolated it, whether it's the Japanese news or any one of these other geopolitical events like the US shutdown. So there we are, guys. I like these weeks where we don't have a lot of major influence, right? Where the data doesn't really shake the house down, and it allows the market to start moving with the flow of, of the dollar and the various instruments. I really think when you come back and you can usually get a good gauge from the signals, right? And if I just come back to that, the watch list pairs, you'll see there's a couple of currencies in here, Kiwi and dollar Swiss, and you think, where's the rest of the majors, right? What's going on there? Well, the all the crap that's come out with the US government shutdown, you're looking across the major currency pairs here, and most of them are uncertain, right? That's the cheat sheet for technical analysis. You can come in there. Once you see that, you're like, right, okay, so the majors aren't doing too much. Okay, that's a question mark. Well, let's go in and start isolating the crosses to work out which ones are really sort of performing. And you know what? Like Euro is holding up, even on the charts. You can see that hasn't fallen as much as some of the others. Euro Swiss is, well, the Swiss is still dominating, but you got Euro Aussie, Euro Sterling, Euro CAD, and then you've got Euro Yen, just to isolate a few euro numbers there, right? So, to me, looking at the euro crosses is definitely an option, and potentially the sterling crosses, right? We've seen, the bond markets, in the UK or the gilts sort of moving up and down, and that's been influenced by the sort of government debt in the UK. It's a sporadic thing that I can't really sort of, you know, with news events. We know exactly what time they come out when the data is out and what to expect with the geopolitical stuff, and which is what we are talking about with the bonds here. The news out of the UK is sporadic around their budget, tax plans, a whole range of things. But so it's pretty hard to isolate where that starts and finishes. We've just seen that news sort of drop into the market occasionally, and it's not easy to sort of really work out what's going on. Okay, so there we go, guys. With these gaps in the market, I'd sort of just be taking your time, get the charts tuned up, and then let's look to see what's going on. That is the plan. All right, have a good week, and yeah, we'll keep you in touch as we go through the week, looking for those great trading opportunities. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheerio.